Hi guys, my name is Ryan, the Frugal Analyst, and in this video, I'll show you how I compare my home and auto insurance quotes to save you time and money. Now, the most annoying thing is definitely the time. There's so many vendors out there, and it takes so long to input every single piece of information to get a quote from everybody, and everybody has their own discounts, their own user interface. In this video, I'll show you how to minimize the time it takes to compare quotes. Now, comparing quotes is pretty common for me, and historically, I changed my insurance company every 1 to 2 years because over time, the insurance premium just seems to go up. So for next year, my home insurance went up from $700 to $1,400. So that's a 100% jump. That's huge. So it's basically the right time for me to compare insurance quotes. So I'll show you how in this video so you can save the most time. So I have 3 sections in this video. The first one is how I compare quotes. The second one is my comparative prices. And the third one is my historical insurance experience. And I have plenty of insurers in the past, such as AAA, Liberty Mutual, Safeco, Geico, Allied, Progressive, and I might be missing a few, but every insurance company is different. Some company have better benefits than others, and I'll walk you through that at the end. Now, in these 3 sections, if you want to skip around, I'll have a table of contents in the bottom of this video so that you can skip to any sections whenever you like. So let's get started. So before comparing rates, let's get all of our personal information all in one place so that once we're ready to compare rates, we could send them to different vendors and just copy paste really quickly. To get started, we probably need 4 different pieces of information for home and auto insurance quotes. The first one is personal information. This consists of 3 things: your name, driver license, and date of birth. And you'll need them for every single user in the account. The second thing is the car information. So car information includes the make and model of the car, the current odometer miles, people's work address, and how many miles they plan to use the car every single year. The third one, just for home insurance, is basically your home address, your roof type, your mortgage company, your loan number, and when the house was built. The fourth one is the estimated amount of coverage that you're looking to get. Now, I'm not an expert in each line item, but basically you want to have enough coverage, but not too much coverage. Usually some insurance company would want to increase the coverage dollars so that they could charge you more money. But look at your coverage, see what you actually need, and basically have the amount of coverage that you want ready so that when you compare quotes, you could tell everybody the same amount of coverage. Now, this whole process will definitely take longer if you have more people and more cars. And since I have an insurance before, what I like to do is I like to print their current coverage or at least save it in a folder so that I could just copy and paste some of that information to different vendors. So for reference, this is my current coverage right now. So for my auto policy, I have 4 different cars. 3 of them is full coverage. The Corolla is just liability only. My Tesla is basically hogging half of the premium costs, and especially that collision coverage. Ouch, it's very expensive, but it is a great car. My home insurance is required because I have a mortgage, and usually the insurance company like to hype up the value of the home to charge their clients more money, but don't fall for it. Ask for a lower coverage if you don't have anything fancy inside the home. So total for me, it's $2,800 for the auto policy and additional $1,400 for the home policy. And my home policy definitely jumped from $700 last year to $1,400 this year. So that's a total of $4,200 for my next year premium that they're asking. So now it's time for me to compare quotes from different vendors. So there's basically 3 different companies that I want to ask insurance quotes from. The first one is I would call an independent insurance company. These are usually really large or mid-sized insurance companies such as Geico, AAA, Farmers. They basically have their own agents. They don't have any third parties selling their insurance. The second category is the local agency. Local agency is where you can actually visit them in your local area. So I'm in San Diego. I could go to Yelp and basically search for insurance companies, and there are local agencies where you can meet them in person, contact them through email, and basically get them to compare rates from the insurance company that they're partnered with. The third category is basically like a local agency, but they're basically online. So these online agencies can compare rates for you, and there's a bunch of startups that tries to make the process easier, where you basically submit your information online with your current coverage, and they will try to get you a better quote from their network of insurers. So I tried all three of these types of companies, and what I find out is that to save the most time and basically the lowest amount of effort is to find a person that you can email your current policy to. So this person can be a part of an independent agency, or they can be a local agent or an online agent. But it will not give you the fastest insurance quotes. The fastest way is to basically brute force all of your information and get your quotes online. So usually a lot of these companies, especially the online agencies and the independent agencies, they have a portal online where you can just basically type in everybody's name, their car information, their mileage online, and you'll get the quote right away. But it does take a crap load amount of time just to input that information. I think for me, it takes around 15 minutes if I seriously focus and basically input everybody's name, everybody's car information, and home information, and all that. So for my personal rate comparison, the first thing I did was to give my current insurer a second chance. So currently I'm with Geico, and I have their auto policy and also use their third-party home insurance network. Now, the auto policy didn't really jump as much, but my home insurance basically doubled. So I tried to go in their website again to see if I could find a better quote, and I did. So currently they're asking for $1,400. I found another quote for $1,200, which is $200 less, and I wish that they would have come back to me with $1,200 instead of $1,400, but I guess they don't want to screw up their partnership with their third-party insurer. But it is annoying that they have a better deal, but they basically didn't tell me unless I actively reach out to Geico. And that's also another sign of why I think we should all compare insurance rate quotes every 1 to 2 years, or especially after our rates went up. Anyway, it's not the rate that I was looking for, $1,200. It's still a big jump from my $700 that I paid last year. So it's time for me to do the work so that I could compare quotes from other vendors. The first thing I did to compare rates outside is basically I go on Yelp and search for insurance companies. Now, what I'm really looking for is that low effort type of deal where I can find an individual. I really want to email somebody so that they can input my information for me, and I could just send them my current policy. So I went on Yelp and basically searched for insurance companies. I found a few. I found Farmers Insurance. They're highly rated. I found some local insurance agencies where I just send them a Yelp message and tell them to email me so that I could ask them for insurance and send them my current policy so that I don't have to type in any of that information. And usually after I email them my current coverage, they'll come back with some additional questions to get me the most discount, but it's just a few questions, and it's a lot better than typing in all of the personal information and car information into a portal. Now, meanwhile, I also tried some of the online methods or methods where I have to put in my own information to some of the large companies. And usually that takes up to 15 minutes in my situation. So after spending a bunch of time talking to different insurance agencies and companies, here are my comparative prices. So the first one is my current policy. I'm using Geico as an auto policy and using their third-party network, NatGen, as home insurance. And they're asking for $2,800 for the car and $1,400 for the home. The next thing I did was see if I could get a better rate from Geico, and I did. I can lower my homeowner policy to $1,200. Then I have a comparison from Farmers Insurance. They have a local agent in San Diego, and I emailed him. He got back to me. Their rate is fairly expensive. I contacted a company called American National. American National is a referral from one of my coworker, and they actually have their agent's name online. So I just basically emailed him, sent him my current policy. He got back to me, and they actually have one of the lowest rates out there. I also have comparison from Wawanisa. I heard from my neighbor that Wawanisa only insure good drivers, and they basically have a pretty good quote. So I tried them. Unfortunately, their quote is not as good as Geico's for their auto policy. I also tried some of the big companies such as AAA because, well, I just see them everywhere. And a company called Amica. Amica keeps sending me paper mail, so I thought I might just give them a chance. As far as agencies, I did try a local agency to compare the rates from their network and also an online agency. So the first local agency is called San Diego Insurance Agencies, and they gave me a quote it's not that bad, but it's not the best quote. For auto, they're asking for $2,900 and $675 for the homeowner policy. So the homeowner is super competitive for them, but the auto is just not as good as Geico. I also tried an online agency called Policy Genius. I just keep seeing them on Facebook. The experience was pretty good. I only had to type in my personal information and I could submit my current policy. And they got back to me after a few days, and their quotes is just alright. It's kind of expensive, but overall it seems like sticking with Geico for auto and getting the American National home coverage gives me the best deal. Now, American National actually gave me the best combination in terms of pricing, but I think Geico is such a bigger company that I might be able to trust more. My coworker only recommended American National for the home insurance, and he filed claims with them before and it went through fine. So I'll just use American National for my home policy and also keep my Geico as my auto policy. So in total, my new premium is basically $2,800 for my auto and $650 for my home policy. And these insurance company, usually you get a discount if you have multi-policy, but it seems like Geico doesn't care if I have a home combined with my policy or not. But in combination, $650 plus $2,800, my total is less than $3,500. So that's not bad, and I'll take it. So now let me share my experience with different insurance companies, and I had plenty of them in the past, such as AAA, Liberty Mutual, Safeco, Geico, Allied, Progressive, Kemper, and so forth. First thing I want to say is I think AAA, if you're looking for tow, AAA basically have their own drivers, and you can get a tow in 20 minutes, while if you have Geico or Kemper, I think your tow times is probably 1 hour for them to get to your location because they don't have a dedicated driver. Next thing I want to point out is the collision coverage and how they value your car. So my parents got hit with a hit and run in their car, and here's a picture of the car. And at the time, we have an insurance company called Kemper. I think Kemper is maybe much bigger in the East Coast, but we got Kemper through a local agency, and they are a big company, but for this amount of damage, they're quoting a cost of less than $1,000. And I was quite offended at that valuation. So what I did was I just decided to repair the car. And because I live in California, I can choose any repair shop that I want. At the end, it really cost them over $5,000 to repair the car, and really I would have taken much less than $5,000 for the damage, but their initial offer was just way too low. So I'm guessing if I went with a better insurance company, they'll probably give me a higher offer to not repair the car and just pay for the hit and run damage. So that's all my claim experience. I did have other accidents, but I wasn't at fault. So I get to basically choose my repair shop, and if it's not your fault, usually it's pretty straightforward. There's nothing to complain about. But once the insurance company have to pay for your damage, that's when you start to question different insurance company and their integrity or their willingness to cover for your damage. So that's it for this video to compare insurance rate quotes. I hope this video helped you save time and money. If this video is helpful, please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe for more frugal videos. I'll see you next time.